G'day all, it's Colin from PC TLC and thanks for joining me. In this video I'm going to be possibly looking at installing Eznix EZARCH script on real hardware. So I'm really keen to try this out on a real NVMe disk, not just VirtualBox. Now Eznix has provided me with some information here on how to get the whole disk as root rather than the remaining being /home. So in this makepkg here, that's his normal script, and I need to change that last line, take out this one here and leave this one in, but change it to 8303 and home to root. So we will get rid of this one here. So take out that line and change 8303 to and root. So that's what I'm going to do. And to show you how, because I won't be able to show you on real hardware, I may do a couple of small little videos with my phone possibly when I'm installing, but I can only show you on VirtualBox what I'm going to do. So let's check that out. So I'll go to the boot manager here and boot this once again so I can boot his script. So I've already tried this out and I just wanted to show you how I went about doing this, if I can remember. This one doesn't have a graphical interface, it's just working from TTY. So what we need to do is we need to nano etc pacman.d mirror list. Need to update the mirror list first. Now I've got one up the top there for Australia, but I know from experience there that this one here, Digital Pacific, works quite fast. So bear with me, I need to type that one in up the top here. Okay, I'll just check that I've typed that correctly and that all looks good. So I'm not much of a typer. Alright, so Control O to save that and enter, and Control X to exit. Clear the screen. So that's our mirrors sorted out before we do anything. And if we do an ls, we got EZARCH UFI. So let's run that. Okay, so I exited the script because what we need to do first is this. We need to nano EZARCH.UEFI, and what we need to do is we need to find makepkg. So let's scroll down and find makepkg. Now I've already done this last night and it worked. Makepkg, makepkg. That's the one there. So when I do my real hardware, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to take out this one here. And I'm going to change this number to 8302 to 8303, and I'm going to change home to root. So that's all we need to do, and what that'll achieve, once it does the disk, it'll be all the rest of the disk will be root. It'll make its UFI partition, its swap partition, and then the rest of the drive will be /root. So your home will be in root. It won't be a separate /home. That's how you do that. I did that. I reinstalled the one I used for my video for Eznix script, EZARCH. I wrote over the top of that EFI install, or that VirtualBox install, doing this. And yes, the rest of the drive was root. So that worked well. So that's what I'm going to do on real hardware and see how we go. So what I would have to do is Control Control O to save that and enter. Sorry, I think I'm out of there. Control O to save and enter. Enter to save that. Control X to get out of there. Clear the screen, and then I'd probably also again just double check that arrow up, because I've got my recently used commands. So I need that one again, mirror list, and that Australia Pacific is still there, Digital Pacific is still there, so that will still work. So that's what I'm going to do on real hardware. I'm also going to remove my 1TB NVMe disk, and I might actually show you how I do that. It's quite simple on the NUC anyway, and then I'll put it back in once I'm done, just so I don't make any errors, and wipe out my 1TB disk just in case. Now I've got everything backed up, but I don't want to spend time redoing everything again. It's just, it'd be annoying. Control X to get out of there, clear the screen. So that's what I'm going to do on real hardware. I just thought I'd show you that in the VirtualBox environment first, and then how I achieve it. And I'm going to go ahead and at some point start the install on my main system. Okay, so I've got my lamp out to try and shed a bit more light on what's going on under here. Let's see if I can do that. That's my NUC. That's my NUC there, up against the wall under the desk. So this is the desk. This is my desk here. If I zoom out, and there's my two screens, a laptop there, another laptop there, a desktop there, a couple of desktops up the top there as well, a really old laptop, 32-bit, and another laptop over there. I've been given some laptops that my daughter bought. That one, she didn't want it. This one, the screen's just about falling off. If you have a look on the side here, it's really bad. I just have to keep wobbling it for it to work. So I'm going to take out this NUC here, and we'll have a look at taking out the NVMe to do this install. So what I have to do is undo these 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you've got to be careful with that, because I've done two of these NUCs, one for a work colleague and one for myself. If you don't take the screws out properly, it pulls out the little brass thread, so you've got to be careful. So when I do this, I just make sure that I can lift that screw up, so I know that it's no longer, because the screw doesn't come out. It doesn't come out, it stays in there because it's been designed that way. So just got to make sure I can lift it up, and that way I know it's definitely not in the thread. And as you can see, that's starting to lift up now, that bottom bit. So there we go. And I'll lift this screw up here, otherwise you damage the thread, and I'll show you what it looks like. So there we go, that's off. So as you can see, these screws have been designed, if I can get a proper picture of it, been designed that they don't come out of that hole, probably so you don't lose it. So they've got a smaller bit there, and then you've got your thread which doesn't go through the hole. So if that's not completely unthreaded from here, from this bit here, as you can see, it'll pull that brass bit out. I have to glue, or the brass bit is actually in plastic, and it'll break the plastic. I have to glue one of these back on a brand new one. It's just so, you know, unless you've got the experience in knowing, it's very hard. So there is the brass bit is inside a plastic mold, which is not ideal, but you know you pay thousands of dollars for this stuff, still got plastic. So here's my 2 NVMe disks here. So I've got the 250 gig there. that's where the operating system will be installed to. This is my 1 terabyte crucial. So I'll just unscrew that, take it out, install Arch, and then put this back in. It's as simple as that. And I've also got 32 gigs of RAM, 16 and 16. So I wasn't going to video record this, but it's very hard to do this while I'm recording, so I don't want to touch anything with that screwdriver. So just unscrew that, and then that sort of like just lifts up like so, as you can see, and just take that out like so, and that's job done. So that's how we do that. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about now. I only just tried to put that back on. I didn't even thread anything back in, and it's completely disintegrated. Look at that. That's just bad. You never get your money's worth these days, do you? It's just, I didn't even do anything. I just felt like it wasn't on properly, and I just took the lid, the cover back off, and it must have only just grabbed a little bit of the screw in that thread, and it's just ripped it off. This is just not real good money's worth, I must say. I expect better than that, to be honest. Anyway, so with my NUC, if you've got fast boot on, I hold the power button down for about 3 seconds and let it go, and then you get this boot menu, F10, and that'll give us a boot menu, and then we'll Toshiba, UEFI Toshiba, which is the Eznix Arch Linux EZARCH on that USB there. Let's go. And we will boot Arch Linux ISO by 64 UEFI CD. So here we are, and from this point on it's going to be everything that I showed you in the VirtualBox. So I'll be doing ls for list, and there we have our list. So from here on it's going to be pretty much the same. I'm going to do I'm going to update the script to do a full root only rather than /home, and I will update the mirror list before I do anything. So that's where we're at. The next time you see me, hopefully I'll be in an installed Arch Linux done by the Eznix EZARCH script. So I was going to check out the script on another computer, but I think I remember how to do this anyway, so let's do that. So I'm going to delete that line there, and I'm going to change 8302 to 8303. Alright, I have to close it without saving. My keypad is not on, and when the keypad's not on, that just messes things up, and I don't know where everything went. So I just thought I'd close it without saving and try again. So I'm going to change that to 3 and this one to root. And that's all I need to do. Okay, so I got this error here, and that is because, yes, I'm on wireless. So I've got no internet, so I've just pinged Google. Looks to be working all right. So what I've done is I've had to run a series of cables from my room into the modem in here, and there's my modem. So hopefully that all works well, gets the job done hopefully, and looks like that worked out as expected. And now I'm starting the EZARCH script. Okay, so here we are on the desktop of Arch Linux, installed with EZARCH by Eznix. This is my second recording. First recording had a lot of screen tearing. I thought I would try and attempt to fix that if I can, because I didn't really want to upload a video with screen tearing. that's pretty annoying to watch. So what I've done here is in Etsy x11 xorg.conf.d, open as root. This is what I like about Cinnamon, you can open things as root. And this one here. So I had this one here, I've commented them out. I had another one there, I cannot remember what I'd actually written, I deleted it instead of commenting it out. And that one caused me a bit of an issue. It caused me an issue with boot. I couldn't get to the login screen. I had to drop to a TTY and update this thing so it didn't affect the boot. So that's what I did there. And I think it was this one here that actually is the one that removed the screen tearing. So that's the main one there. So if you're having problems with Intel, that's the best thing to do with it. And there's the path there if you want to know where the path is. What I've also done is in the file system Etsy FS tab, I've added these ones here for my bind mounts. So the usual, what I did with the other video there, it's the same thing. But what I've done is I've put none defaults bind and this x-gvs-hide 00. Now what this one here does is that one there actually hides any extra folders. Because when you get bind mounts like this, what they do is they add a folder. So if you put the hide, this one here, hide, it doesn't show the folders on the side, the extra folders. And also what it does is it doesn't show that little link icon, you know, just like a link in Linux. You got the link icon there with the arrow normally. Well, this one has like a little hard drive there to show, to symbolize that it is a mount, a bind mount. Well, it actually doesn't show that if you put that here. So it makes it look a bit more native. Only problem is I still have the problem with the move to trash. So, you know, I have got the option of moving to trash in Cinnamon, but it will not let you move to trash. You've got to delete. So I'll put this public one here on as a bookmark. So then, so if you want to, you can remove that. And if you go to Home and Public and Bookmarks, add bookmark, and then it'll come up on the side here. So you've got to actually be in that folder to do that. So whatever folder you're in will be added to the side as a bookmark. I've made my specialized wallpaper for this video, and it'll probably be, I probably don't have to make a thumbnail for YouTube because it'll probably pick this one up, and I'll use that as the thumbnail as well, no doubt. Eznix has done a wonderful job with his script, and I've seen another video he's made. I haven't got through the video yet. I got, I don't know, quarter of the way. Got busy with this. So system monitor. Here you can see you've got 250 gig disk and it's all root, which is what I set out to achieve, was the remaining as root. And then you've got your boot partition there. So that worked exactly how I wanted it to. So Eznix script, spot on. The little bits that you told me to change, spot on. So that worked exactly how I wanted it to. So thanks for that. So if we have a look at free-m, we've got a swap here of 8 gig. And that is, if we do the, I think it's swap on -s, I believe. And there it shows you it's a partition. That's partition number 2. And on the monitor side of things, you've got partition 1 and 3, and that's partition 2. So that's worked out really well. Well, actually, if we look at the system monitor again, just have a look at the usage resources. 1.6 gig, and I'm recording the screen. Not doing too much else. Had the terminal open before. So we've got a little bit of usage happening there. I don't know what's happening there. it's decided to go a little bit berserk after opening this. I did do a screen usage not long ago. Memory's nice and stable. That's reached nearly 100% on one of the cores. Now, when I was using this before, it was quite tame. But that's swapping the usage around. I wonder if it's the system monitor itself causing that. So if I close that, you might hear it wind back down again. Maybe. So if we do a HTOP, I'm not sure if HTOP's installed. There we go. So now the processors have gone down. Now they're nice and stable. So I don't know what that's all about. Maybe the system monitor. That's really strange. So maybe I need just use HTOP, I suppose. All right. Now what I've installed is, let's have a quick look here. Cherry Tree, disks, USB writer and formatter, which is the Mint stick, Blender. GIMP was already installed with Eznix script, and so was ViewNoir. And ViewNoir is not a bad little image viewer and editor. Simple editor, but it's got the options there. So I've also installed Google Chrome, Ice, Thunderbird. I think I installed. It may have already been there actually. And Zoom, LibreOffice, and Simple Screen Recorder. The rest were already here. I believe they were already here as well, actually, except for System Monitor. That's the GNOME System Monitor. I installed that. So that's that. And just to show you how I'd managed that, this is how I managed it here. Let's just go back through the some of the commands that I've done. Not these ones. That was when I was fixing the screen tearing with those commands. Okay, well, this is another thing. I'm not really sure whether about security and stuff on networks. I wish I knew more, but can't get my head around it. But Samba, Samba, smb.conf. Now, normally this file is full of stuff. Now, all I've done is installed Samba in Arch Linux, and I couldn't get to my network drive, so I've just put this in, which is normally under the global section if it's fully complete. I don't know whether I need to copy another file from another distro and fill this up with all the stuff if it's part of security and that, or I can just leave it blank with that one there. Does anyone know about that? I'm not sure. At the moment, I'm just keeping it there. I don't know if there's all this other stuff that normally comes in other distros is absolutely needed or not. So I'm not really sure about that. So that's one of the things I'm unsure about. Now you'll see that I've installed that with Pacman from the Pacman repos. So what I was doing is, there you'll see Pacman, I was searching for Mint stick. Here I was just searching for video drivers for Intel when I was researching the screen tearing or the flickering. So that's just doing that. So sudo pacman-s LibreOffice. That was from the Pacman repos. So what I do is sometimes I do a -s and a little s and search for it first. And then if it's not in the Pacman repos, then I just do yay and do a yay mint stick. And I did install yay Google Chrome because yay ice SSB. I did a search for ice under yay because I knew it wouldn't be in the Pacman repos. I suggest don't do a simple search for ice. LibreOffice ends in ice, and just about many other things and many other packages do as well. So that was a nightmare. I should have remembered it was ice SSB. I just couldn't remember it. I eventually found it. So there was the search in Pacman and it wasn't there. So I'm always willing to use the Pacman repos first. And then if I cannot find it in the Pacman repos, then I use yay. So that's how I installed all my stuff. It was always the Pacman first. And instead of having to go to GNOME Look, I use yay to install the Quokka theme. So that's one very handy thing about Arch Linux is you don't have to go searching around these other internet sites. You can just use yay from the AUR to install stuff. There's the GNOME System Monitor. And I also installed Bluetooth, which I spent a good part of yesterday trying to get going.
getting Bluetooth going wasn't too much of a problem on the Arch wiki. It was to get it to auto start was the problem I was having. So I'm just so spoilt using Ubuntu-based distros. You know, these are the things you take for granted that really makes you think about what you have to do when you install Arch. Granted, though, Eznix script does install most things, but there are the odd things that you still have to get going because multimedia is doing pretty well. The only thing that's not working is there was a 3.5 pin with a headset that I wanted to use, and the sound's not coming through the 3.5 pin utility, so I don't know what that's all about. I've got my headset with the Bluetooth, so I'm happy with that. And these were some of the Pulse Audio Bluetooth Auto Connect scripts I was, or commands that I was using to get that going. So as you can see, there's quite a few there. I was using the Blueberry from the Mint project, but I decided to use Blueman instead. So it was Blues and Blues Utils. Don't know why I didn't install those two on the same command. Bad habit. I was installing some of this stuff, but I don't think I actually never used. VirtualBox, there's a host modules Arch and there's a VirtualBox DKMS. I installed this one first. That didn't work. I had some problems. I removed it, as you can see with the command here, and I installed the DKMS or whatever it is, and that's pretty much it. So that's what I've been up to. Arch is running pretty well at the moment. We'll see if it can stand the test of time. I just run some updates every day just to see how it goes. And sudo pacman -SYU. Oh, I got that wrong, didn't I? But let's cancel that. One thing I did learn, somebody made a comment on one of my videos today, and this I didn't know. If I run pacman -SYU without the sudo, and I need sudo. So if you forget sudo, he said, just type sudo space exclamation, and that'll do the command with sudo at the front of it. So I didn't know that. That's a really good tip, and thanks for that. And nothing to do. So I've been video editing already and did Zoom this morning. All's working well. I didn't tell anybody I'm running Arch. Because I have to say, by the way, I'm running Arch. and the reason I'm running Arch, doing a service for Eznix, who's working really hard on some scripts, and I did do it in VirtualBox and made that video, but I wanted to do it on real hardware. There's nothing better than trying something out on real hardware. So I thought his script worked with NVMe on VirtualBox, so I'm going to do it on real hardware and see how we go. I've done that. This is where I'm up to. And everything seems to be running pretty well. I've had the problem with the Bluetooth, the problem with the screen flickering. So hopefully that's all settled down now. The only other thing I've done is I've done my links. So in this data partition here, I've got Google Chrome, .mozilla, .thunderbird. And I linked those, so I'm up to speed where I was when I deleted my other distro. So there's the link to .thunderbird, the link to .mozilla, and the link to Google Chrome. So they're reading from that 1 terabyte hard drive from the data in there. So I'm always up to speed. All I have to do is relink it. Just a bit of a tip. I have tried doing this with Thunderbird, and I've done that before signing in to Thunderbird, but I've found out that if you sign in first, then link your folder, everything seems to work so much better. And also with Thunderbird, it didn't actually, didn't pick up my account the first time. It came up with an error, so I just did it again, started from scratch, closed it and opened it again, and it seemed to have worked all right. So I don't know what that was all about, but anyway, running pretty well. So that is my Arch Linux install. Got a couple of backgrounds here, just the default ones and the one that I made. And I'm enjoying and being on Linux. And the other thing I've done is I've added a menu, an alternative menu, which I haven't done on the main panel yet. If we have a look at applets, and there's Cine menu, which I've put in there. So let's have a look at that. And that's that one there. So, and it's got some configurable stuff with it. You can configure that menu as well. So behavior, appearance, search providers, and so forth, layout and content. So there's quite a few things you can do with that. And the other thing is, if you want to add a panel, because I remember I thought one good thing in KDE Plasma is you can just add a panel onto the other, instead of mirroring your displays, you can just add another panel onto the other monitor. So the same thing you can do here. So if we go to, I think it's panel edit mode. Actually, you might not even have to do that. Add new panel. And then you get these squares, and those squares are also on the other monitor. So if you click the bottom outline, it'll add another panel wherever you click, there, or there. Same with the other monitor. So just press escape to cancel that. So I've got another panel on the bottom there. So that's pretty handy as well. So I don't think you can do that with GNOME, so I was struggling. You can mirror the two. But I don't want it to mirror, like when I open that, I don't want that to be up on the other monitor. That's what I don't want. So anyway, that's my adventures into Arch Linux, and I've done it to help Eznix out with his script, and the script has worked a charm. I'm very happy with it. And if you want to get Arch Linux, then Eznix script is not a bad one to do. Although you have to use the whole disk, that's the only thing. Now I know he's changed some things, so let's go and have a quick look. EZARCH. Now the one that I used was, where is it? Downloads, ISO. I used the first one on VirtualBox with the EZARCH GUI, and then the one he just changed recently was the EZARCH DHCP-CD. Now, I'm hoping Eznix will tell me what's going on here with these ones. I think the DHCP-CD was the command line. It didn't have a GUI in it. So I just used the command line. But as you've seen in the video earlier, I had to set myself up with Ethernet because you can't use the wireless in the GUI. So I think that would be the same one. It's just the command line. And this one here will be the GUI, and you just go to his live bin, I think it is, or something like that, where his EZARCH scripts will be. I think that's how he's still running it. Good job there, Eznix. I will put this link in the show notes. So I'm going to see how I go with Arch Linux. This has taken me out of any of the equations of snap and flatpaks at the moment. I don't have to worry about debating that. So I'm just using Arch and the user repositories and Pacman. So that's all I need to do at the moment. So anyway, that's my adventure into Arch Linux at the moment. See how we go with that. Failing that, and if things go horribly wrong with this, I'll be looking at probably installing Ubuntu Budgie. And I'm still pretty keen to do that. I just want to see how long I can go with this and see how it goes. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you found it interesting and informative. And thanks for watching.